welcome to our channel Knowledge of Friends. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. Today we're gonna start with your reasoning class, and that is your classification. But before starting with the classification, we have to deal with analogy, one topic that is of type 5 we have to discuss, that is you're detecting the relationship between the two correct that we have here. The correct substitute we have to find out, and then we'll start with the classification as well. In reasoning, if I'm talking about, this is your class 197 and 196 classes we had done here. And in the non-verbal reasoning, as we had completed your series topic analogy, and now we'll go ahead with starting with this classification as well. Before starting with this, as I told you about, we'll start with the analogy. In a verbal reasoning, what we had covered up is your general mental ability. Here we had covered up the analogy, classification, series completion, coding, decoding, blood relation, puzzle test, sequential output tracing, decision sense test, logical Venn diagram, alphabet test, number ranking and time sequence test, mathematical operations, logical sequence of words, arithmetic reasoning, inserting the missing character, data sufficiency, decision making, assertions and reason, situation reaction test, verification of the truth of the statement as well. Other than that, we have to deal with the section 2, which is your logic reasoning, where we have to cover up the logic, statement argument, statement assumption, statement course of action, statement conclusion, deriving conclusion from passages, theme detection, question statement, miscellaneous logical puzzle as well. In the same case, we have to cover up the non-verbal reasoning, where we have to cover up with that is your series, analogy, a classification, that we have to deal with it. Let's go ahead with the solution for this, and that what we have to talk about analogy, and that is of type 5 here, as I told you in the last class here. Before starting with this, it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers. Please go through with the subscribe button, and please like, share and subscribe to our channel, so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. Now we'll start with the type 5, which is your detecting the relationship and choosing the correct substitute, as I told you, which we have to cover up here in this pattern that we have. As you can see here, in this type we have to that this type of a question contains a figure like A, B, C and D, which is in the capital letter in a problem set, and the figures that is your from the answer set be named as 1, 2, 3, 4 here in the answer set. So it is required to select a figure from the answer set which best substitutes a figure D of the problem set such that element D is related to the element C in the same way as element B is related to the element A. If none of the answer is suitable, then answer is 5 here. Okay, so if it is not suitable anyone, so that will be the answer will be 5, otherwise it will be the answer as well. Let's go ahead with the question here, which is your 405 question of the session, as we had done 404th question of the session as well. This has been named as A, figure B, figure C, figure D and figure, this is your figure 1, 2, 3 and 4. In reference towards it, here the two triangles from the figure A, as you can see, are lost to form figure B. And then with that same relationship, we find that with the laws of the triangles from figure C, that that the figure 3 will be formed, so that figure 3 will be the answer here, because they had missing the two triangles here. So that will be the third figure will be the right answer for this question as well. With each of the following questions that bears of 4 figures numbered A, B, C, D, and which constitutes a problem set, and 4 other figures numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 and which constitute the answer set. So figure A and B are related to a particular way, and establish a similar relationship between a figure C and D by choosing the figure from the answer that would be the best substitute with the figure D and the problem set. In the case of if none of the figures in the answer set is suitable, then that we have an answer, as I told you, which we have an answer of 5 here. Now we will be going ahead with the detailed about it, which is your 406th question of the session, that what we have to talk about it. These were the problem figures and these were the answer figures here, and in this has been named as figure A, B, C and the D. This is for the answer figure. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 here. In this, the number of the sides in B is equals to the numbers of the arrows in A. So we can say that the figure which we have to find out after the D here in the reference towards the D, so that will be the answer, that substitute is your the fourth figure will be the right answer for this question as well. Let's go ahead with other question that what we have to talk about it, which is another question is your 407th question of the session. These were the problem figures and these were the answer figures as well as we have talked about it. And here in the circle where the combination of squares and circle is input, and that is your figure A. B, this is a square where we have a square and circle combination. This is a figure C, and this is a figure D as well. This has been named as 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively. Here all the squares in A are changed to the circles in B, and all the circles in A are changed to the squares in B. So we can say that the figure which we have, that will be the figure is your third figure will be the right answer for this question as well. Now we will be going ahead with other question, which is your 408th question of the session that what we have to discuss here. As you can see, this is your 408 question. Here it is a problem figures and this is your answer figures as well, which is here the triangle, square, equal, circle, plus and multiply, wherein this that is being named as A, and that is a square, equal, multiply, triangle and circle and plus, which is figure B. Here it is your arrow, multiply, parallelogram, minus, pen and circle, which is figure C. Multiply, parallelogram, circle, pen and minus, and of course we have an arrow, that is figure D here. In the answer figures as well, this has been represented as 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively as well. In the same cases, all the items in A moves one step clockwise to form B, and we can say that the figure which we have as an answer is your first figure will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with 409th question of the session, that is your problem figures, and these were the answer figures as well. This is a figure A, which is we have triangle, then this is your figure B, this is your figure C, and this is your figure D as well. So here with the same cases we have to go ahead, which is your 409th question of the session. This is your problem figures and these were the answer figures as well. As I told you, this has been the figure 1, 2, 3 and 4 as well here. In the same case, where the outer figure in B is identical to A and the inner figure in B is obtained by reducing a figure A in size and then inverting it. So we can say that the figure which we have as an answer, which is the third figure, will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with other one, which is your 410th question of the session here. That what we have to talk about it as well. And this is your problem figures and these were the answer figures as well, which has been named as is A, B, C, D, and this is named as 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively as well. With the same case, if I'm going ahead where the figure A is inverted and to get a figure B here, so that is, we can say that the figure which we have is your figure 2 will be the right answer for this question as well. Now we will be going ahead with a further one, and that what we have to discuss is your 411th question of the session here. In 411th question of the session, these were the problem figures and these were the answer figures as well, which has been named as A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. In the same case, as you can see, this is a figure here, this has been half in B, and this is here, and this has been changes and rotated here as well. So in the same references towards it, where the figure B is a half of figure A, and that we can say that the figure which we want as your figure A1 will be the right answer for this question as well. Now we will be going ahead with a further one, and that is replaced by this. So that is the another question is your 412th question of the session here. This is your problem figures and these were the answer figures as well. Here the triangle, it is figure A, inverted triangle in a large way, that is your B. The C is your semicircle and the D is your whole circle as well. So here, as you can see, this is a figure 1, 2, 3 and 4. In reference towards this question here, as figure A is inverted and enlarged to given a figure B, and with that same cases, if I'm going ahead, as you can see here, ये ट्राइंगल था, ये इन्वर्टेड हो गया, ये सेमी सर्कल था, तो सेमी सर्कल का सर्कल नहीं होगा, ये इन्वर्टेड हो जाएगा, और इन्वर्टेड के साथ साथ वो लार्ज भी होगा. सो दिस इज़ इन्वर्टेड बट दिस इज़ नॉट लार्ज, इट इज़ इन्वर्टेड एंड दिस इज़ लार्ज एज वेल. So this is the figure 4 will be the right answer for this question as well. Now we'll go ahead with the 413th question of the session, that is your problem figures and these were the answer figures as well, which has been named as A, B, then we have a C and then we have a D as well, which is named as 1, 2, 3, 4 here. In respective manner, that what we have to go ahead where that the perpendicular lines that rotate 90 degree anti-clockwise and the Christ articles at its end is lost, and the same article appears at the one end of each of the two lines as well. We can say that the figure that we have to find out is your figure first will be the right answer for this question as well. Now we'll be going ahead with other one, which is your 414th question of the session here, and that we have is your problem figures, and these were the answer figures as well. This has been named as figure A, B, C and D. This is figure 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively. In the same case, we can say that here with a reference towards it, which is except for the top right part, whole of the figure is lost, and that is the figure which we have as your third figure will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with the 415th question of the session here, that what we have to talk about it, which is just we have here, this is your 415th question of the session that we have to talk about it. Let's go ahead with that. With other question that we have is your 415th question of the session. These were the problem figures and these were the answer figures as well, which has been named as A, B, C and D. This is 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively here. Here A rotates to 180 degree to form B, so we can say that the figure which we have as an answer is your fourth figure will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with other one, that what we have to talk about it, which is we have under one, which is your 416th question of the session. These were the problem figures. As you can see, these were the answer figures as well, where the pentagon, we have a triangle, in a triangle we have a pentagon, then in triangle we have a parallelogram, and in a square that we have a triangle. So this has been named as A, B, C, D. This has been named as 1, 2, 3 and 4. Here in the respective manner, both the figures in A gets inverted, outer becomes the inner one and the inner figure becomes the outer one, and that is we have an answer which is your second figure will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with 417th question of the session. These were the problem figures and these were the answer figures here, where it is, that is A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4 respectively as well. Here that the figure descends one step and the lowermost figure becomes the topmost, and each figure is replaced by its mirror image. We can say that the figure that we have as an answer is your fourth figure will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll be going ahead with other one, which is your 418th question of the session here. In a problem figure, that is your the answer figures, here it is your the pentagon, which is A, then we have inverted pentagon, that is B. The C is your parallelogram. In a parallelogram there is a square here, that is figure D. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 here. In respective manner, that the figure A is inverted and a figure with one less numbers of side is introduced inside it. So we have the figure that will be the right answer is your third figure will be the right answer for this question as well. Let's go ahead with other and the last question in the same cases of this that we have to talk about it, and even though which is also an important one, the second last question of this type 5, which is the problem figures and these were the answer figures as well, which has been named as figure A, B, C, D. This is named as 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively. In the same case, as you can see here, where the topmost figure is inverted and the middle figure is rotated 90 degree clockwise and the lowermost figure is rotated 90 degree anti-clockwise, you can say that the figure that we have as an answer is your first figure will be the right answer for this question as well. Now we will be going ahead with another one and the last question of that we have to talk about it, which is in terms of the analogy here that we have to move ahead, and that is your another one is your 420th question of the session here with reference towards the analogy of type 5. This is the 420th question of the session, where it is problem figures and these were the answer figures named as A, B, C and D. This has been named as 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively. In this, the upper figure moves to the next side of the enclosing square in a clockwise direction, while the lower figure moves to the next side in an anti-clockwise direction. So that we can say that here that the figure, it will be fifth figure will be the right answer for this question here. Let's go ahead with other one that we will discuss here, which is the another topic we have to continue with, which is your classification. In terms of classification, we'll start here. As I told you, non-verbal reasoning classification will start in this class only. We had end up with analogy, that is the second topic of non-verbal reasoning, and this is the third topic of non-verbal reasoning, which is your classification. In classification, we'll discuss the type 1, which is choosing the odd figure. You have to choose the odd figure. In this, before starting with this topic, we have to understood about what is classification. In this chapter on classification, we deal with the problems of odd man out type. In such patterns, problems, we are given a set of figures such that all except one have similar characteristics or features. We are required to select the figures which differs from all other figures in a given set, and several other types of problem based upon the classification are also discussed in the detail in this chapter as well. Now we'll discuss about the type 1, which is choosing the odd figures here. So here we go ahead with the same case, and in this we have been given here odd man out, and in such problems, and we are given a set of figures such that all except one have similar characteristics or features. We are required to select we are required to select the figures which differs from all the other figures in the given set, and several other types of problems based upon the classifications that are also discussed in the detail in this chapter. In this, we'll talk about the choosing the odd figures here. In this, under the heading, we study the problems in which we are given 5 or 4 figures, out of which we accept one are alike and in some manner. So we have to select that exclusively different figure in the given set. So following questions we'll do to make understanding about the easiest, to give it easier here. If according to this question here given below, there are the 5 figures out of which the 4s are alike in some manner, and find the figure which are differ from all the other figures here. So in this, as you can see, this is named as A, B, C, D and E. With the reference towards this question here, as you can see, except in figure A, in all the other figures, the figures on either side of the central horizontal line are inverted image of which the other side, and hence figure A is the answer here. As you can see this figure, this is an inverted image about this is a mirror image, this is also inverted image, and this is also an inverted image, but this is not. So we will be having the option that will be the right answer is the option A. This figure A will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with the second question here, and that we have to deal with it. And we here, out of these, the following 5 figures of 4 are alike in some manner, and one differ from these in that manner. So here select the odd figures here. As you can see here, this has been figure A. Where pentagon, we have an hexagon inside. Where a rhombus, we have a triangle inside. This is figure B. The C figure, with triangle we have a square, and a D figure which we have a square in that pentagon, and then we have pentagon, we have an oval. This is a E figure that we have. So in the same references, except in B, in all the other figures, the outer figure encloses a figure with one side more than that the outer figure. So hence here we have as the figure B is this answer here for this, and that will have as B answer. As you can see, the outer we have 5, and this is hexagon, that is 6. Here 3, then inside 4, and then inside pentagon, which is 5. There are 5, and under that we have an hexagon, that is 6 here. So in the same case, it is not followed, so that is the B with the answer that we have here. Now we'll go ahead with the third question of the classification that we have to talk about it. Where from the among of the following 5 figures, select the one which is different from all. And as you can see, this is a figure A, this is figure B, figure C, figure D and figure E as well. In this, except figure D, all the other figures are divided into equal parts, and hence D figure is the answer here. So that is, we will have the D figure will be the right answer for this question, and that is odd man out here. Now we'll go ahead with the fourth figure here. As you can see here, this is a figure A, that is shaded triangle, shaded circle, circle, and then a white triangle and white circle, plus division, division and plus. This is B figure. This is half shaded here, this is half shaded. The B will be representing the half and white, and as well as which is also represented, that is figure C here. In the same case, there the E figure, which is star, shaded star, moon, and star shaded moon here, that has been represented. This has been asked in the CBI examination paper, which is also an important paper in terms of it if I'm talking about the competition wise. So that is also an important one. And among these questions here, which we have to talk about it, and the following figures, that figures except the C, the similar symbols, one black and other white here, and that is appears at diagonally opposite corners, while in the figure C they appear in the adjacent corner, as you can see here. So they are diagonally here, as you can see. They are diagonally, they are diagonal, they have to diagonally, they are diagonally, but this is not diagonally, this is just adjacent towards it, and this has been asked in SBI CBI question paper. So that is the figure C will be the right answer for this question as well. We will be going ahead with the question number 5th we have, and that is your as you can see here, this has been here comma, and this has been the colon sign as well. In these, out of the 5 figures that has been named as A, B, C, D, that are given in each of problem, and 4 are similar in a certain way, and how ever that one figure is not like to the other 4. So choose, you have to choose which of the different from the rest here, and that what we have to choose as well. So let's go ahead with this, and that what we have to deal with it. So here in this is a comma, colon, and then full stop, that we have 2 full stop and plus here. We named as A, B, C, D and E. So in this, all except figure, that is we have E, that are punctuations mark here. So here this is, these all are punctuations mark, but this is not. So this is E will be the right answer for this question, and that is odd man out. You have to consider the pattern, you have to see the pattern as well. It could be in the form of anything. We'll talk about the 6th question of the session. As you can see, this is figure A, figure B, figure C, figure D and figure E here. Where in the same case, in that case, only in the figure that the 2 lines are not parallel, and which is here in the figure C, that are not parallel, they are just towards one another, and that is will be the right answer. As you see, figure will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll talk about the 7th question of the session. As you can see, this is the 4 we have a 4 5 arrows here. A, that has been B, this has been C, this has been D and this has been E. So they are in the directions. As you can see, this is upward, this is rightward, this is downward, this is leftward, and this is upward as well. This has been asked in BSRB question paper as well. As you can see here, that this figure contains 4 arrowheads, while each one of the other figures contains 5 arrowheads. So we can see that the figure that we have here, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. So only B is the one figure which we have as 4 arrows, but they all have containing the same number of arrows, which is 5 arrows here. We'll talk about the 8th question of the session here. As you can see, a line whereas one line is long and then short, long, short and long, short. This has been named as figure A, B, C, D and E here, and that's what we have to go ahead as well. In the same cases, as you can see the pattern, in all the other figures, all the line segments are drawn perpendicular to one base only, and for that sake we have an answer, that is the figure that we have is your figure A will be the right answer for this question as well. They are on one side only, as you can see yes, and this as well. So this is on opposite side, so that is the odd one here. Now we'll go ahead with other question, which is the 9th question of the session. That is, we have A, B, this is downward arrow, upward arrow, C, downward arrow, upward arrow, D, and this is downward arrow as well. So in the same cases, if I'm talking about this, the arrow ends of these figures only indicate anti-clockwise motion, which while each one of the others shows the clockwise motions as well. As you can see here in the figure, this is a clockwise, this is also clockwise, this is anti-clockwise, this is clockwise, and this is also clockwise. So the anti-clockwise direction, that is the C figure, and that is the odd man out, and that will be the right answer for this question as well. We will be going ahead with other one, which is your 10th question of the session. This is a V with a line, that has been A, circle with line, this is B, and that is D, C, this is D, and this is E as well. In the same respective manner, we'll talk about it, and that what we have to go ahead, and which is we are dealing with it as well. Here each one of the remaining figure is made by a straight lines only, so that we can say that the figure that we have as an answer is the B figure will be the right answer for this question here. And that is it all the figures are joining the straight line they had made, but in circle it is not, so that is the reason that the B is the figure which is odd man out here. Now we will be going ahead with a further one, and that what we have to discuss here, and which is the another question as well that we have is the 11th question of the session here. So here in the 11th question of the session, as you can see here, the figure that has been representing A, B, C, D, and this is E as well. This is, as you can see, a line here. This is a triangle, and this is an E here. This is a sort of a Y here. In this is the only figure that is containing the 4 straight lines here, as you can see. But in all, we have 3 straight lines only. So that is the figure which we have as your D figure will be the right answer for this question. And as you can see, this is an odd one out here as well. So now we'll be going ahead with other question that what we have to talk about it, which is your 12th question of the session here. This has been figure A, B, C, D, and E. This has been asked in bank PO question paper. There is a cross sign which is one shaded circle, and there are the 2 circles here. There are the 2 circles, there are the 2 circles, there are the 2 circles, there are the 2 circles with cross plus sign arrows containing it and simultaneously. In the same cases, if I am going ahead, and all the other figures, the lines cut each other at right angle, and for that the figure that we have is the D figure, which is not. So that is the D figure will be the right answer for this question as well. I will go ahead with the 13th question of the session here. As you can see here, A, F, Z, E, and N. As you can see, number of straight line 1, 2, 3 here. Here 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So as you can see here, and you will just analyze it out as well, so that which of the figure will be the right answer for this odd man out. This is A figure, B, C, D, and E. So of course it is only the letter that having a 4 lines, rest all have 3 lines. So we can say that the D figure will be the right answer for this question, that is odd man out as well. We'll have 14th question of the session. As you can see, the figures here named as A, B, C, D, and E. This has been the important question because this has been asked in the BSRB question paper as well. So in the same references towards it, that all other figures having a 4 cups opening in a different directions, but in A it is not. Now we will be going ahead with other question. That is another question is your 15th question of the session. This has been named as figure A, B, C, D, and E here. In the same respective manner, if I'm talking about, where in all other figures 2 arrows points towards left and 1 towards right, and for that sake we can say that the figure that we have as your E figure will be the right answer for this question as well. Let's go ahead with other one that what we have to talk about it, and which is the another question, and that is your 16th question of the session, which is named as A, B, C, D, and of course the E one. In the same reference towards it, if I'm going ahead, where in all the other figures, the cases the pen passes through a vertex of one of the figure and through a side of the other, we can say that the figure which we have is the D figure will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with 17th question of the session here. As you can see, here is a pointed, and then we have an arrow as well. This has been figure A, B, C, D, and E as well. So in the same pattern what they are following, only in figure D the arrows and the pen lies on the same diameter, and that is the figure D will be the right answer, and that is odd man out for this question as well. That is, as you can see, they are not all in the same diameter, but this is all in same diameter. So for that sake, this is an odd man out here. We will be going ahead with other questions. That is your 18th question of the session here, and even though that what we have to discuss about it, which is we have, and that is a figure. This has been representing the figure A, B, C, D, and E. This is an important question because this has been asked in your BSRB question paper, and that is also an important paper respect towards the competition wise if I am talking about here. In the same cases here, all other figures that can be rotated in each figure. So that been has been mentioned here, as we can see that and in the same references all the other figures can be rotated into in each other, and so we can say that the figure which is we have as your E figure will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with 19th question of the session, that is the circle, and there is a triangle where we have a dotted circles or dotted point. We can say that in a circle, same for this, same for this, same for this, and same for this as well. So in the same cases, if I am talking about here, in all the other cases one of the dots lies outside both the figures, and that is here it is both inside the figures, and there is, you can see here outside one dot is there. So for that sake, that is the figure we have here, which is named as figure A, will be the right answer for this question as well, and that is odd man out here as follows. That is respectively named as A, B, C, D and E. Now we will be going ahead with other question, which is we have is your 20th question of the session here, and that what we have to talk about it, which we have as follows. This has been named as figure A, B, C, D and E. This has been asked in bank PO question paper, so that is also an important paper respect towards the competition wise if I am talking about it. So that is, as you can see the figure here, the dots and crosses are there. Dots is inside and plus and crosses has been representing here, and the arrows as well, that has been you can see that. And in the same references towards it, in all the other figures, the arrows and the plus sign lies towards the black portion of the torch, but in the D it is not representing, so that is the D figure will be the right answer for this question as well, and that is the odd man out as well. Now we'll go ahead with the further question, which is your 21st question of the session, and that what we have to discuss here. This has been named as figure A, B, C, D and E. This has been named as well as I can say we can see that, and in all the other figures the numbers of the half part of the leaves is one more than the numbers of the lines. So here you can say that in figure C, that is the odd man out, and that is the right answer for this question as well. Now we will be moving ahead with other question, and that is your 22nd question of the session, that what we have to discuss here. Let's go ahead with that. This is going to be ahead with the 22nd question of the session. As you can say, this is J, F, M, A and T. This has been representing A, B, C, D and E as well. So in the same cases here, other are the first letters of the names of the months in a year, that is January, February, March, April respectively, while T is not the first letter of any name of the next month, that is your May, and so that the D, that is the odd one out, is your E, and that is your figure which we have as your T figure will be the right answer for this question as well. Now we will be going ahead with further question, and that what we have to talk about it, which is your 23rd question of the session. Here you can see that the 3 equals with 4 circles and 5 crosses, 6 crosses, and then we have a C's as well, which has been representing the figure A, B, C, D and E, and this has been asked in BSRB examination paper, that what we have to talk about it, which is also an important paper respect towards the competition wise is here. In the same case, the numbers of the different symbols in a figure is in the consecutive order, such as there are the 3 equal signs, 4 circles and 5 C's, and a 6 crosses the sign as here, and in figure A, that you can see that, and for respectively with the same case, the answer we have is your figure C will be the right answer for this question as well. Let's go ahead with other question, that is your 24th question of the session here, which is named as figure A, B, C, D and E, and that has been representing here in the same pattern. In this figure, only the central line is not a diameter, so that in C there is that really the odd one out here. We will be going ahead with other one, that what we have to talk about it, which is the another question, and that is your the 25th question of the session. This has been named as figure A, B, C, D and E. This has been the question which has been asked in BSRB question paper, that what we have to talk about it, where the line inside the square must lie at the corner opposite to the line outside the square here. We can say that the figure which we have is your figure C will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with 26th question of the session here, where in the four parts of the square that has been one shaded, as you can see here, respectively named as figure A, B, C, D and E here. In the same cases that what we have to go ahead, and here the line inside this square must lie at the corner opposite to the line outside to the square, and so that for that sake case we can say that the figure C will be the odd man out, and that will be the right answer for this question as well. We will be going ahead with a further question that what we have to discuss here, and that is your 27th question of the session that what we have to go ahead. So as you can see, the 27th question of the session is here, where in this that is named as figure A, B, C, D and E. In the same case here, with reference towards it, if all the figures are rotated to the same position of the shading, then the shading in all other figures is as the same type. With reference towards the D, this is odd, so that is here the D figure will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with 28th question of the session here. This has been the figure D, figure A, B, C, D and E here. As you can see here, in the same cases, only in figure E the shading occupies similar positions in the two halves of the circles as well. So we can say that here, that is the figure which we have is your figure E will be the right answer for this question as well. Let's go ahead with other one, and that is that in all here, that is here the E figure here, and with a reference towards this, then all the other letters are the four starting from the previous one, and that is the D should be A that we have, and in the same cases that will be the right with cases that we have. So here in the same cases where all other letters that are starting from the previous one, and so figure D should be P, and that is the figure D will be the right answer for this question, and that is the odd man out here. We'll go ahead with further one that what we have to talk about it, which is your 29th question of the session, and that we have is your figure that has been representing A, B, C, D and E here as well. In the same cases here, in all the other figures, that both the unshaded circles lie outside the central figure, and we can say that the figure which we have, and that is the figure will be the B figure will be the right answer for this question as well. Let's go ahead with other question that we have to talk about it, which is your the 30th question of the session. This has been representing the A, B, C, D and E. We are in the three concentric circles where the dots has been representing here. In here, in all the other figures, the dot appears in the region common to two circles only, and that is in D, that is common to all three circles. So this is not this is odd man out, and where it is that has been the common in two circles, that will be the right answer for this questions. Let's go ahead with the 31st question of the sessions here. This has been B, A figure, B, C, D and of course the E1. As you can see, the odd man out here as well. The zigzag figures points downwards in this figures only, and that is your figure C will be the odd man out, and that will be the right answer for this question, because all these were towards the upside, and this is only the one that is towards the downward here. So that will be the right answer for this question, and that is the odd man out as well. We will be going ahead with other question that what we have to talk about it, that we have, as you can see, this is your figure A, B, C, D and E as well. In reference towards these particular question, that what we have to talk about it, which is we have here the lining, and that we have cross, then lining and a cross, lining and a cross, and lining and a cross, and that type of a structure with the lining and a cross. In the same cases here, that the inclinations of a triangle is difficult here, and for that we have a figure that will be having is your figure D will be the right answer for this question as well. So let's go ahead with other one, that is the 33rd question of the session, that what we have to discuss here. The another we have is the 33rd question of the session, where the circle, as we can see here, this has been representing A, B, C, D and E. This has been asked in BSRB examination paper as well. So in the same cases, you can see a line and then shaded here, which is all of the figures can be rotated into each other, and we can see that the figure that is odd and out is your B figure, which is odd one out here as well. We will be going ahead with the 34th question of the session. Here the shaded triangle line is that is your dotted triangle and then circle. Then we have that is rectangle, and then the triangle is shaded, that is with dotted, circle with a square is dotted, triangle, then inverted triangle, then of course the dotted square, and then square here as well, named as A, B, C, D and of course the E here. In the same cases here, that in all of the cases one of the two figures is made of dotted lines, and that is in figure D. Here is not, so that is the figure which we have an odd one out as a D figure will be the right answer for this question as well. Let's go ahead with 35th question of the session here. In this has been named as A, B, C, D and E. This has been asked in the BSRB question paper, which is also an important paper respect towards the competition wise. Here all other figures that can be rotated to form each other, and so that we can say that here, which is the figure which we have is a C figure, will be the right answer for this question as well. Now we'll be going ahead with other one, which is the 36th question of the session here. As you can see, this has been named as A, B, C, D and E. So in the same references towards it, in all the other figure the parallel lines have similar heads, and in B there is not, so that is the figure B will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with 37th question of the session here, where two cross and one shaded, one white circle and one dark circle. A, two crosses and that one shaded and one white circle. B, the C, the two crosses and one shaded and one white circle, which is C. Here the two crosses, one shaded and one side that is white circle is your D, and two crosses with one white and one black circle, dark circle is your that is figure E. As you can see, they are the diagonally, okay, but in this is the adjacent towards it, and in other figures that the black and the white circles occurs on the opposite corners of the square, and so do the symbols crosses as well, and that is the figure C will not, so that is the figure C will be the odd one out, and that will be the right answer for this question, and that is odd one out as for this particular discussion as well. We'll be going ahead with other question that we have. It's the 38th question of the session. As you can see here, this is your figure A, B, C, D and E. This has been asked in BSRB examination paper. That is also an important paper respect towards the competition wise, if I am talking about here. In the same cases here, that is that all the other figures that can be rotated to form each other, and so that we have the answer that will be the D figure will be the odd one out here. We'll talk about another one, which is your 39th question of the session as well, where in a square there is a line here that has been named as A, B, C, D and E. Irrespective all, that in all the other figure the square has two lines inside and one line outside, so we can see that the figure which we have is your C, that will be the odd one here, because in all the two lines are inside and one outside, two lines inside, one outside, two lines inside should be there and one outside, but here two outside, one inside, two inside, one outside, two inside, one outside, so that will be the odd one out is just C figure here as well, according to the question which we have to find out. Now we'll go talk about the 40th question of the session, that what we have to go ahead. Figure A, B, C, D and E. In the same respective manner here, in all other figures that the closed figure attached to the central line and oriented towards the side of zigzag attached that is to the other side of the line, we can say that the figure that we have as an answer is your figure A will be the right answer for this question as well. Now we'll go ahead with the 41st question of the session here. This is wheel figure that has been named as A, B, C, D and E. This has been asked in the bank PO question paper, which is also an important paper respect towards the competition wise, if I'm talking about. The figure attached to the bent line is similar to the figure which lies opposite to the direction of bending of the line. can say that the figure that we have an answer is your figure E will be the right answer for this question. That is odd man out here for this particular question as well. We'll go ahead with the 42th question of the session, and that is we have here A, B, C, D and E. In respect towards it, in each one of the other figures, the line is one step ahead that of the dot in clockwise direction, and we have that is the B figure we have as the answer here for this question as well. That is odd man out here as well. The other we have is the 43rd question of the session, where we have A, B, C, D and E, which has been asked in the BSRB question paper. That what we have to talk about it. And in the same case, as you can see, there are the 3 shaded leaves. As you can see here, the pattern that they had followed, all other figures can be rotated to form each other, where while that is the A figure will not be the odd one, and that is the right answer for this question as well. Now we will be going ahead further, and that what we have to discuss here, which is the another question as that is your 44th question of the session, that what we have to go ahead. Let's go ahead with that as well. 44th question of the session, that as you can see here, this has been named as figure A, B, C, D and E. This has been named as you can see the figure, the pattern that we have here. In all of the figure, 2 arcs are curved inwards and 2 outwards. We can say that the figure which we have is your figure D will be the right answer for this question, and that is odd one out as well. In this case, as you can see, the 45th question of the session here, this is also we have a shaded circle inside dot and the white dot, and the arrows, there are 2 arrows and 1 semicircle here. In the same case here, as you can see, these 3 are above and these 2 are the downward side. So this has been the A, B, C, D and E. In respective towards each, here that in all other figures, both the arrowheads lies towards diameter of the semicircle. We can say that the figure which we have is a B figure will be the right answer for this question, and that is an odd man out as well. 46th question of the session, that what we have to talk about it, which is the figure. This has been representing the figure A, B, C, D and E. In the same cases here, all the other figures contain a geometrical figure along with its mirror image, and we can say that the figure which we have is your C figure will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with other question that we have is your 47th question of the session. This has been named as A, B, C, D and E. Here in a square we have a pentagon, then we have a hexagon inside in it. In hexagon we have a pentagon, then we have square in it. In triangle, then we have a pentagon and then we have square in it. Then we have your pentagon, then square, then in triangle in it. Triangle, square, and then we have a triangle in it. In the same cases, the number of the sides in the outer, middle and inner figure should be either in the increasing or a decreasing order. We can say that the figure that we have is your figure C will be the right answer for this question, that is odd man out as well. We'll talk about 48th question of the session. This has been the figure A, B, C, D and E, where we have a dotted pen side and an arrows, white pen, arrow, white pen and a dark pen and arrow, and this, as you can see, white pen and a dark pen and arrow, white pen and dark pen and arrow as well. In the same cases, all the other figures that can be rotated into each other, and that we can say that figure A will be the odd one out, that will be the right answer for this question as well. Now we will be going ahead with the further one, and that what we have to discuss here, which is your 49th question of the session, and that we have here as in the box we have 6 columns, 2 columns and 3 rows, square, plus, circle, triangle, cross and inverted triangle, which is named as figure A. There is plus, triangle, square, triangle, circle, inverted triangle and cross. B figure triangle, circle, cross, inverted triangle, square and plus, that is figure C. Circle, rectangle, plus, circle, multiply and triangle, which is figure D. Triangle, circle and then we have a square, triangle and multiply and plus, that we have figure E. In respective towards it, the figures contain the circles in 2 boxes, in which each of the remaining figure contains the circles in 1 box only. So the figure that we have here, it's your D figure, will be the right answer, and that is your the odd one out as well. We'll talk about the 50th and the last question of the session as well. As you can see here, the two triangles, one rectangle and one oval, and that two here, that is, so out of the square that we have is your figure A, B, C, D and E. So as you can see here, the squares, circles, rectangle, triangles, and that we have the circles, triangles and circles as well, that has been representing as well. In the same cases, all other figures that contain two circles, two triangles, one square, one rectangle and one ellipse, while in figure D that contain two squares here. So in that same case, we have the D figure, that is odd one out, and that will be the right answer for this question as well. So now we will end up with reasoning here, and we'll for classification that we'll start discussing about in the next coming class. And in other than that of reasoning, if I'm talking about, we had completed the sociology, we had started with software engineering where we had completed the unit 1 of that introduction, and other than that we had started with unit 2, which is SRS software requirement, specification. After that we are dealing with this DBMS as well, and we are dealing with the chemistry of class 12 academic, and of course the competition. Other than that, we had started with the quantitative aptitude, which is your arithmetical ability, which is operations on numbers, LCF and SCM of numbers, and decimal fraction, and as well as we had started with simplification. We had completed the topic there as well. In terms of reasoning, if I'm talking about, I had started, we had talked in the starting only, I had told you, the reasoning has been divided into two parts, which is verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning. In a verbal reasoning, this has been divided into two parts, which is general mental ability and the logic reasoning. In general mental ability, that is analogy, classification, series completion, coding, decoding, blood relation, puzzle test, sequential output tracing, direction sense test, logical Venn diagram, alphabet test, number ranking, time sequence test, mathematical operations, logical sequence of words, arithmetic reasoning, inserting the missing character, data sufficiency, decision making, assertions and reason, situation reaction test, and verification of the truth of the statement as well. In logic reasoning, that is logic, statement argument, statement assumption, statement course of action, statement conclusion, deriving conclusion from passages, theme detection, question statement, miscellaneous logical puzzles as well. That's what we had covered up here. In a non-verbal reasoning, we had started with a series where we had completed the more than 1000 questions here. In analogy, we had done more than 500 questions there. And now we had started with classification, as we had completed the 50 questions of the classification as well. In this, after that, we'll start discussing about analytical reasoning, mirror image, water image, embedded figure, completions of incomplete pattern, figure matrix, paper folding, paper cutting, rule detection, grouping of identical figures, cubes and die, dot situation, constructions of squares and triangles, figure formation and analysis, and then we'll discuss about the practice question paper, where we have a multiple types of questions that has been in a jumbled way. You have to analyze the questions from which topic it is from, and then after that you have to answer it out as well, so that it will help you in reasoning, that it will let you know that how much you are capable of doing reasoning questions as well. And that is also an important one, because when you are solving a question paper of any of the examination paper, of any of the competition paper, they are coming as in the form of jumble one, and then if you are do that particular question well, then that means that you are able to do it. So thank you, hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion on a comment box, and please like, share and subscribe our channel, so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even you can also enjoy the video as well. So here we'll end up with this, and thanks to all those subscribers, those who had subscribed our channel, because your support is very important to us, and please support us as you have supported us till the date. Thank you, hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion on the comment box. Thank you.